Broadcasting through the depths of outer space.
Hello, I'm alive. I don't know what's going on.
By your command.
Fascinating.
God damn you all to hell!
It's the Sci-fi Podcast. This is episode 13 of the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast. Michael Ball on the show with, if my co-host was on the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, he would be known as the deep thought of sci-fi knowledge. He is, of course, Mr. Martin Fowler. Hello, Martin.
Wow, that was big. Thank you very much. I'm just overwhelmed.
But it might take you 3 million years to answer your question.
Probably will. It's 42.
Nice one. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Yeah, good.
Yeah, I was just saying before we set recording on here that I've got a shelf in my room and the whole thing collapsed. I'm making a 3D copy of the Discovery one for 2001, and I was moving some DVD boxes around, and I didn't realise that my shelf had come off out of the raw plug, out of the wall with the plaster, and was being supported on the edge of the DVD boxes. So when I pulled the DVD boxes away from the wall, the shelf above went flying, so all my Blu-rays on the floor. My room looks like it's World War III, but it's just one of the joys of I don't know, being in a home with lots of shelves, I guess. So that's a bit of a surprise.
Yes,
but,
yes.
Never mind, we're here, and I didn't want to miss out on the podcast anyway, so I made myself a coffee, so we're all fine. This week it has been again. I do have to say that we have been focusing on recent weeks on the two main series of Doctor Who and Star Trek Picard. Of course, when those respective series finish, we'll be focusing on other news as well. So, but they are, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your perspective, the main focus on sci-fi at the moment, which is why they bring in plenty of discussion. So we'll be doing that. So tonight's show, we've got a few things to focus on. We're going to focus on the 1970s series Space 1999, the two series there, which I liked very much. And my friend Martin has also, apparently he's been putting a lot of work into this. He's been doing Predator Vs Manimal, which of course is a series, a very absurd series from the 1980s, with a man who used to hold his hand out and it used to start wobbling, and then he would start doing heavy breathing, and no, he wasn't a pervert, and then suddenly he would turn into a Black Panther, and then he would go on some mission or something where there's some dodgy people who are stealing someone's jewels or something, and then he would suddenly turn back into a human and all his clothes would reappear, which is really quite bizarre.
They would have to be ripped like the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, no, don't you go on about my Incredible Hulk.
He does. I've seen it. I sacrificed.
Incredible Hulk is better than Manimal.
90 minutes of my life today for this.
This is what I call dedication for the podcast.
Yeah.
So we're going to bounce it off with each other in later on in the show, so that'd be good. So let's first of all go into the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast news. Here we go.
Working.
Solar Sci-Fi
News.
All right, so this week, again, the focus of the week has been the new Star Trek Picard series episode and the Doctor Who penultimate episode of season 12. Which one of those do you want to talk about first, and which one did you like the best?
Well, let's get the Doctor out of the way.
Go for it. What do you think?
Oh, I've got to admit, look, I know it's been pandemic ratings and it's losing viewers by the millions, but it was bloody good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say it was good. I'm still trying to figure out the B storyline that was going alongside.
Which really was, it was almost like you're jumping into a different TV series. It was very...
Yeah, it was like the what is it, the midwife thing, called The Midwife.
Yeah, one of those sort of like, sort of period drama sort of BBC things.
Yes, yeah.
I think that the detective, whoever he is, I'm assuming that he is the lone Cyberman in the future.
And all that's inside his head.
Oh, so what? So is he imagining his life as a constable in Ireland, or what do you think?
Well, I thought it might have been like a Matrix thing, because he seems a bit screwed up as a Cyberman. Because when they found the 80s ones, which I really loved,
I love their design.
He started punishing him.
Yeah,
so
but
he's not playing along like a Cyberman.
Well, no,
is
I mean, the Lone Cyberman. I thought that when he discovered the '80s new variants, he did something to them to make them have some sort of emotions. I don't know what he was doing.
Well, the scream. When he opened that casket, that cryo thing, it screamed.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know what he's done to them all.
And it was interesting because we saw the Cybersmen design with him, and then we've seen the new '80s variant, which I love. Actually, I think it's the best Cyberman version I've seen in New Who. My favourite favorite Cybermen were the '80s versions. In episodes like Earthshock, Silver Nemesis, The Five Doctors, and Remembrance. No, was it Resurrection? One of the Cybermen episodes with Colin Baker. Can't remember the actual specific first.
That's
word.
where they got. That's a sequel to the one of the original Doctors, isn't it? Where they got a Telos or Mondos or something? Where they're all in frozen cryogenic. They go back to that planet again.
Yes, because it mentions Mondas, and then we see Telos, wasn't it? We see those partly Cybermen. So I can't remember. But that was a good episode, and that had that 80s design of Cybermen, which I've just said was my favourite. Good episode. Really left hanging at the end of it. The Master came back, which of course we knew he would. Why that portal is linked to Gallifrey from that gatekeeper guy, we don't know. Lots of unanswered. I've heard that Ruth is going to be involved in the next episode. The Dr. Ruth is going to appear as well. I
thought they might have been holding her back till next season.
I've heard that she's going to be next week, but I mean, it's a rumor. It could be wrong. They'll have to proceed with her storyline somewhere. But
I came to it. I mean, when I did live stream on Sunday, I was talking to a couple of people, and some of them. I know this sounds outrageous, but is the human race, do they become the Time Lords?
Yeah, well, we don't know. I mean, when did I thought the Time Lords evolved eons ago in the past.
Well, that's what I thought, but maybe they are going into the past and become Time Lords.
Well, I suppose it's not elaborated when the Cybermen, so it's possible. A lot of I don't know. I have no idea, but it's got a lot of.
Well, there was a leak on Reddit, and it was on Facebook. A lot of people apparently there was a leak about this week about who the Doctor is, and I don't know if it's true. If I should mention it.
Yeah, go on.
It's all speculation, but the guy put this up as it apparently was leaked. But you don't know what to believe on the net. But apparently the Doctor was found as a child many millennia ago by the Time Lords, and she had the ability to regenerate non-stop, and they took the ability from the Doctor and passed it on to. Now that is, I'm not saying that's official. It was on Facebook in a big leak about it, but they put certain things together what were predicted where it were going, and they've been right on some stuff. But this is apparently that the Doctor's some sort of godlike being.
Oh, so how do you feel if they did that in respect to the long-term character arc? Do you think that's a good thing? Do you think it's shoehorned in? Are you pro it or against it or indifferent?
I think it should be left at Hartnell.
Yeah, well, that's what I think.
I think they've got to be careful because they could end up undoing the very thing that's made it a success.
Well, the thing is, you see, I've seen quite a few well-known sci-fi classics where they retcon stuff, and it could completely change your perspective of a classic. A good example of that was the Alien franchise, where we had the sort of prequel Prometheus, and then the one that followed on with that, and then of course and of course the Alien Ripley, the 70s one, the classic one. Of course, now we had the android who apparently was the one who created it or something, and that's not good. That did not help the original films.
No, and then they made it, and that in Aliens 3 they were all Northerners on the prison.
Oh, no, exactly. They're putting something Leeds.
Yes.
But Actually, I've always liked Alien 3. I've always known it's not a very popular film compared to the first two. I liked it; had a different turn to it. I like most of the Alien films, actually.
I didn't mind Aliens 4. I didn't mind that. I find that it's like with the Terminator franchise. The first two were marvellous, and then the rest have just been. I mean, they're watchable, but they're just not up to the standard at first two. And I can't understand why they lose the ability to create a third masterpiece like the first two. It's like they just go off on a tangent somewhere. And I just think you can level a franchise that way.
I mean, I saw the director's cut of Alien 3 and it was different.
I don't think I've seen that.
And the actual alien in that one is not a dog, it's like a slightly different creature or something. And in the end, you don't see Ripley. I don't think you see her die. No, you don't see the Queen at the end either. But
right.
It was, it's one of those films that it was definitely inferior, and it did pardon the pun, it did alienate a lot of the fans from the first two, which in actual, with all due respect, were quite different from one another, but they were both classic masterpieces. So going back to Doctor Who, I hope that they don't do something which will really forever taint your perspective of the Doctor, especially in its early, you don't want to damage in the classic era. You don't want to be watching it in 5 years' time and you think, let's delve into, I don't know, an Unearthly Child or something, and you see the Doctor with Susan, and then suddenly you think, hang on a minute, this isn't the first Doctor. This is the 17th Doctor, and this was actually the first Doctor who was a male Doctor, because, that's my concern.
Well, there's a lot of speculation about the old fella on that planet.
Yeah, I think he's the
gatekeeper.
A Time Lord.
Something more to him.
I think he's like a Time Lord. Maybe he was. Remember, there was a Keymaster and Gallifrey.
No, there was three, wasn't there? There was Omega, Rassilon, and the third we don't know.
No, but there was also one who was the Keymaster to the Matrix.
Yes, there was.
I wondered whether he was something like that.
But Gallifrey looks destroyed as well.
Well, yeah, but maybe there are Gallifreyan or Time Lord survivors, I suppose.
Well, then he must be some kind of guardian. There must be some type of time looping. There's some event's going to happen on Sunday to offset the old Gallifreyan timeless child, Doctor Who, Master, and this big lie, and the lone Cyberman. There's some connection here. Yeah. That's going to merge all this together. And I mean, it is a tangled web we weave. I mean, they have written some exemplary episodes this season. I can't deny that.
I never thought I'd hear you say that. I'm quite surprised how positive. It's good to hear.
There's been. It's like somebody said to me a couple of weeks ago. Look, I'm in and out with this series, but it's unpredictable. And I've sat there and I've said to you, there's been some absolutely blinding episodes this season. They're not going to hold up to the classics, but they define this series. They give this series an identity.
Yeah, I'll go along with that. I'd agree with that.
But I still find fault with it.
But then wouldn't you find faults, not you personally, but anyone would find fault with every series of every show? There's always, nothing is ever perfect. I think there's a lot more faults with this than there are in earlier seasons. But I have definitely warmed to it in the recent months of this season. So it's.
Well, I've not walked away from it. I mean, I sit in at 7:00, 7:10 on Sunday and watch it.
But would you walk away with it if it's that bad, or would you stick it out anyway because you're? I
did walk away from it in the late 80s.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, whenabouts did you think I've had enough of this? What period? I bet you're going to say Colin Baker.
I was.
I like Colin Baker. I was underwhelmed with Sylvester McCoy myself. I didn't like
McCoy had some awful episodes, but yet again there was some superb ones in there. Yeah. But I didn't see them till they came out on VHS.
Oh, so you never watched it? I mean, I remember watching the last episode.
They put it out against Coronation Street.
Yeah, I remember it. It's like Monday nights or Wednesday nights or something.
Yeah, well, in our house, I was living at home at the time. I mean, I were going out a lot, and when it were on, family were all watching Coronation Street. It were like, so I didn't really take much notice of it. And then when it all video came out in the 90s, I started buying them, and I thought, when did this happen? You know, like with the Cybermen.
Oh, because they appeared one more time in Silver Nemesis, didn't they?
Yeah, Silver Nemesis.
And I
like
that episode. I think that was a brilliant episode. I love that episode.
Mordrin, is it not the one back King Arthur and the Doctor's Merlin?
Oh, yeah, I know the episode. I can't. I know the one you mean. I can't remember.
I mean, there was and the Dalek one as well with Davros and the Hand of Vega.
And the two factions, and you have the special weapons Dalek and all that. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
But the one I did see was with the I think that's when I stopped fully. It was the one with the.
I know what you're going to say.
Macintosh man.
Which one?
Is it the Macintosh? It looked like a load of sweets.
Oh, Candyman.
Candyman. And don't get me started on Delta and the Bannerman.
I like Delta and the Bannerman.
I know you're not the only one. A few people I know.
I think that episode's quite fun. It's stupid, but it's fun. I don't mind that one. I didn't like. I thought the Candyman one was terrible, and I think I also just didn't quite connect with that Doctor. It was nothing against Sylvester McCoy.
I didn't connect with him until 90s and early 2000s, and although that hideous episode where Ace came into, I'm a big fan of Sophie Aldrin, but the one on with the ice planet where it was prison.
That's right. It was the first Ace episode. It was one where and we saw Sabalong Glitz came back. He made a return. That wasn't a good one.
Yeah.
But it was it was an interesting period, and
I mean they've got a lot. They've got to deliver big on Sunday, and I am worried. I mean, I've got to admit, I like the episode I watched. I've watched it twice, and I thoroughly enjoyed the episode. All right, you got the B story, but that B story is the key to what's going to happen next week. Not all the other. It's that B story is the key. But they've got to deliver twice what they delivered on Sunday this week.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Can they do it?
I don't know. I mean, it's a very kind of hard to determine whether they'll make it good or whether it can just sort of fall flat. But we'll just have to see what happens in the end. It's a tough one. I'm up for it though. It's going to be strange.
No, I'll be sat there. I will be sat there with my cup of tea.
And you'll be reviewing it on your live stream afterwards, which I'll try and check out.
Yes.
I normally sometimes I get a chance to see it live, sometimes I catch up afterwards, but it's always good getting your reactions and stuff, and you've got a good community of people there, so that's cool. So yeah, we'll see, and hopefully it will go out with a bang and not with a whimper. There we go. Which probably brings us to the other big show of the week. Of course, it's Star Trek Picard, episode 5, which had some big surprises. And it had one big disappointment, which I didn't realise until halfway through the episode. I'll quickly say this before I get your review. It was Icheb featured in the episode. It was a different actor. Didn't look anything like the original actor.
You said,
he was sort of tortured for his Borg devices, which apparently are high in value in this world that they go to. And he was killed. Well, he was literally, for some reason, 7 and 9 decided to put him out of his misery. I don't know whether it was actually needed or not. But it was interesting, and it was a bit of a surprise. So, first of all, what did you think of 7 and 9's appearance, the end of Icheb? Tell me what you think about the whole episode.
I'm on a couple of groups on Facebook with Star Trek fans, and I did read next day. I was just going through. I read some stuff from it. There's a lot of fans that are not happy with this, you know.
Really?
Yeah, they're not happy with the Federation being this dark dystopian place. They're not happy with the bloodshed, and they're especially not happy with the F-bombs.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I hate the F-bombs, as you know.
That's the. I mean, I watched that Friday, and I couldn't believe what I thought. What's this? Then when they stuck that thing in his eye, and they just pulled it out, and I thought, well, they never did this in Next Generation.
Well, I don't know why, because I like horror. I've seen lots of dark horror films, but there's something where there's a certain point you shouldn't go in Star Trek. I've always said that Star Trek should appeal to everybody, of all ages. And it feels to me as if they're just doing it because they can do it. And when they do that, it tells me that the people who are doing it they don't quite get Star Trek. They're trying to make Star Trek. They're trying to do their own. And I did think this as well with Discovery as well. And although it's entertaining, although it's all there, it doesn't quite feel right to me. And I have to say that.
But if you you see, I know where they're coming from with this, because if you go back into Star Trek history, right, and you go back to Deep Space Nine is the key to all this.
Oh yeah.
Right? And the Next Generation, the two-parter. But there's the Federation. After the Dominion War, millions died.
Right.
They couldn't. It was a massive interstellar war spread right across the Alpha and Beta quadrants. Millions died. Cardassia were in ruins. The Klingon Empire was just barely hanging on. The Romulans suddenly got done by a supernova after 20 years after that. And you're going to look at the Federation and they're going to think, well, we've had the golden years of exploration and suddenly we're being attacked from all sides by these more powerful foes, like the Dominion,
but
the Borg.
When the Dominion came
they're
along...
going to they're going to change.
But I think with me, the positive side, or the aspect of when the Dominion came along, was that there was such a different kind of threat. And yes, I do concede that the Federation, after 20 years after the Deep Space Nine episodes, is probably going to be a slightly different entity. But it's just something doesn't feel quite right. But you do make a fair point.
Yeah, and I thought the episode were exemplary. I was a bit shocked at what I saw, but I'm not against it. But it's like Picard, he's still holding on to something valuable, like when he went into that bar and said no aliens. Yeah. And he threw that sign on the floor. That would have defined him up. That tells you who this man is. He is that. But whether he's right or wrong, the society's moved on. And suddenly the galaxy's become a bit darker than where they were 20 years ago. I mean, they're probably still recovering after the Dominion War. I mean, the losses, I know they won it, but the price they've had to pay. Look at the Romulans.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot going on here. And then the attack on Mars by synthetics. And there's a conspiracy going on. You can understand why they're like they are, and I think the writers have took the right approach. I don't know if you. I'd like to see Discovery did 1 or 2 episodes where it was very Trek. Yeah. And it worked. It worked when they went to some planet and they did, the usual, and some model dial, and it worked. Like when they went to Saru's planet. Great episode.
Yeah. There was 2 episodes in season 2 which I consider Star Trek. The one with the Saru's planet, and the other one where we talked about this. The one with the buildings and the church, and the colony in the I think they're in the Beta Quadrant. And then of course Pike has to go down, and there's a Prime Directive. That was Star Trek, and that I've actually watched that one, because although the story is very connected, it's an episode which you can watch as a standalone just about, and that's unusual for Discovery. And so, but I mean this is one thing I really hope they do this Pike series, because I really like to have a series where there are some running storylines, but it can be quite standalone. You can actually just delve into it and think, I fancy seeing that episode, which I've done with most of the other series. But of course, Discovery, you can't really do that too much.
I think Pike's happening. There was something on Facebook. I think it's happening because Anson Mount's been teasing people.
Oh, I like him. I thought he was great. I really, really like him. He's a really good character.
I think a Pike series could be the crown jewel in the Star Trek franchise.
I think I might look forward to that more than Picard. Although I like Picard, but I would love just to see exploration.
Just do the 5-year mission.
Yeah, just the first 5. Oh, it'd be great. Imagine it, and you could even have the original Enterprise Captain Robert April make an appearance. Oh, it'd be great.
Yeah,
I would love it. I would love it.
And he's got the. I mean, when he came into Discovery season 2, that whole program changed.
Oh, I know. I mean, the thing is, I wish you could stay for season 3, but of course they've changed the setting for season 3.
But I just think with Pike, you can get back to an original. What it's
That's
about.
what-
Go to different weird places.
Excuse me. They should drop the Section 31 series, which I'm really not that interested in seeing. And they should have the Pike series.
Back here.
Yeah, I know. So that seems strange. But then, I'll give them their credit. I mean, look at us. We've got 2 Star Trek series sort of going at once now. We've got Discovery coming up later on in the year. We've still got another half of Picard. It's all looking good. It's all looking.
Picard's brilliant. But Patrick Stewart said if they hadn't, he said he wouldn't have come back for him just being of the Enterprise, going out every week doing what they were doing. He said he wanted a story, and so for him, a Shakespearean actor like him, to come back in, the story must have meant something to him to do it.
And it's got to be different from what. And I know that was one of Picard's sort of.
It's evolution things. So if you're gonna go create, you want Trek, do the Pike series, because that's where that will become the top series.
That's the one I would really like to see. Yeah. Well, fingers crossed I'll do it, and I think if they do it, and now that CBS and Paramount are back together, we could actually have proper continuity, and I think that'd be great. So fingers crossed that'd be done. Lastly, what do you think of Jerry Ryan returning? How do you think she came across?
Marvellous. Well, it was interesting. She'd had an affair with her, relationship with that Bassani. She's a badass. I mean, she kicked ass. She's certainly become humanised now, hasn't she? Yes, and I mean, it was a great episode. I mean, even the disco gear, what they all had on.
Yes.
When they went down, even all that, and Picard with this French fella and with eye patch, but when she turned up, again the mechanics changed. She was awesome.
Yeah, she was.
And it's interesting because when she killed Icheb, he was like a child to her. She was like his mother.
That's right. So
I like that.
It was interesting. So it's a good series. We've still got another 5 to go.
The defining thing what I liked at the end, Picard tried modelising to her when she said, "Can I have 2 phaser rifles of these Rangers, whoever they're backed by, the Fenris Rangers?"
Yeah.
Which I'm quite interested in. Said they're going to pick me up, and after he talked about killing that Bassani woman, he knew she was going to go down there and kill her. He knew.
Yeah.
And she was making out she won, and she went down there. And he did do his Picard stuff, but it didn't work. She went down there, vaporised and slaughtered everybody in that bar. Yeah. And she didn't bat an eyelid about it. So, what's her backstory of the last 20 years now becomes fascinating. But the thing they said was when she said to him, "Do you feel that you got your humanity back?"
Yeah.
And it went quiet. He said, "Yeah," but then she said, "Your full humanity." He said, "I try every day," and she said, "I do." And I love that because they've got that connection.
Well, I mean, it's one thing to have the 2 probably most prominent sort of well-known characters in Star Trek who have been affected by the Borg meeting from two different series as well. So
because it damaged him. Do you remember that episode after the 2-parter when he went up to his family? I mean, that was a very powerful episode.
It was. And I remember that scene where he says something like, they took everything I was. They taught me I was supposed to kill and I couldn't stop them, and he starts crying in front of his brother, and that was a fantastic episode. And that's when
it was.
I think that was, I mean, the best of both worlds was when the Next Generation reached new heights, but then they came back with another episode directly following on, and it really, I think that was really one of the episodes where we realised just how wonderful this character of Picard is, which was created by.
It's human, even though what it's like. But it was a beautiful thing after the action-packed 2-parter that we took a step back, and there was so much damage to him, and even now it still affects him, and I love that. And same with her, and I loved it. Great episode.
Yeah, it was great. Well, anyway, here's to many more episodes, and apparently Discovery has already been renewed for season 4. So lots going on.
Can I just say, what did you think to her, the Doctor Cyberneticist, when she killed Maddox off?
Yeah, the thing is, I know it sounds odd, but I wish they would actually get the original actors involved. I mean, they could have got Echep back and they didn't, so they didn't recognise him. I was surprised, but it's one of those. There's so many things going on at once that although it was a part of the actual episode, it was okay. She's done that, and then you focus on the next thing. How about you? What do you think about it?
It's what she said to him. You haven't seen what I've seen.
Yeah.
What
has she seen? Well, I know we're going back to the Borg cube next week, which looks
Finally.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've got to move on a bit for that. It's been sort of a bit stuck in limbo with that sort of thing. So we want to see what's going on there. And of course, it'd be great if Picard meets Hugh again, which would be quite cool.
They'll kill him off next week. I bet it'll be some gruesome death for him.
It could do. I mean, he's only been in one. I thought he was going to be actually featuring more. He's only been in one episode so far. But again, you'll get this in the opening titles. I'm going to try and do this next week. When the opening titles come on, I'm going to look away because it spoils you if a well-known actor appears in the episode. So,
yes, yeah.
I suggest you do the same. When it comes on,
this
look
is
away.
Fact. I can tell you what Worf's doing.
You told me he's catching the Enterprise.
Did I?
Yeah, he's catching the Enterprise. Whether we see him as that, I mean, I know it said it in the comics.
I hope so.
Well, yeah, but I've heard that if he does appear, that they will make him look like a standard Klingon and not a Discovery Klingork.
Oh, for God, for that.
Because imagine him looking like a Klingork or something, so that'd be awful.
They just had no personalities, them Klingons, at all.
Kalish.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. We're all like they've been on toilet straining.
Yeah. Kalish, I'm dropping a log.
I mean, what happened to the good ones when they headbutted each other and go, today we're gonna die, and all that?
No, the Next Generation, which of course they've been around since that type of Klingon's been around since Star Trek 3, which is something like 1983.
They're the ones I want back.
They're the best Klingons ever.
Yes.
That's what we want, and they feature on all the other series.
Yes.
But, I mean, like I said, I reckon they'll be back, and if they do appear on Discovery in the future, they will now be allowed to use them because of this weird retconning thing. So this constant continuity thing. So, fingers crossed. Okay, brilliant. Any other news you want to share with us?
No, again, there hasn't been much really going on. Birds of Prey flops at the cinema, I know that.
Oh, did you see that? I remember you mentioning it.
Nah, I didn't bother.
No.
Couldn't be bothered.
No, I didn't fancy that.
One day it will just magically appear on the monitor. As if by magic.
It's like something out of the Twilight Zone, isn't it?
I did watch the new Twilight Zone. I caught first.
Oh,
did you see?
I saw the first episode, Terror at 20,000 feet.
Is that with a podcast?
It's the one on the aeroplane where.
Yes,
right.
Listening to a podcast. Yeah.
Now, I'm sorry. Now they've made that twice before. They made the original William Shatner, which is great. They made the one with John Lithgow in the movie, which was absolutely brilliant.
Yes, it was.
This one was shite. I thought it was absolutely bloody awful.
I watched the one where they go to Mars. I think I watched the first one, and then
I've only seen the first one, and I thought this.
Well, I went to, I think it was episode 7, and God, I thought this started off very good. I liked the beginning, and it even had the creepy music at the end. But I thought this is just terrible.
No,
I've got the originals on Blu-ray. And
I've got them all. I've got the 60s. I've got the 80s.
Yeah.
I've got the
80s was good.
I love the 80s one. Did you remember the episode? The best episode was the Convict's Piano. It's this guy in jail. Oh my god, it's so good. And he starts playing this tune, and then suddenly it goes up, and it's during the history of the piano, and he ends up going to Chicago, and it's brilliant. It's so good.
The one everybody said they remember is the one with Bruce Willis.
Oh, I love that episode where it's like a duplicate of himself, and he's slowly taking over his life because the original was wasting his life. And oh my god! Yeah. And there's an episode of Stitch in Time where these two people wake up at 11:10, and they say, "Oh, the clock's not working," and they suddenly come out, and they get up, and they see these people in blue uniforms and blue masks walking around. like putting dust on clocks.
God, yeah.
And it was so good, and basically every minute has to be built. Every minute has to be built. And I watched this episode, and I was blown away by it. It was so good.
Yeah, because they couldn't have woke up,
and they woke up too early, and that's right. And it's so cool.
And the one other one I remember from the 80s is one which gets a stopwatch.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah,
it's buried under a garden.
Treat her like crap, and she's freezing them out.
And she says, "Stop talking," and then everyone gets frozen. And at the end, there's World War III and a nuclear bomb. And there's a nuclear bomb about 2 seconds from hitting the house. And I love it. Oh, God, it's classic.
And it just finished there.
Yeah, no, it was so good.
That was just incredible.
Oh, we've got to do a Twilight Zone, especially.
Oh, definitely.
We'll do a 60s
special.
Outer Limits as well. I love the 90s Outer Limits as well. That's good.
I like the 90s.
Anyway, that's not news. It's sort of it's sci-fi discussion, so we can talk about it. All right, so do you want to go on to the focus of the week?
It's the
Solar Sci-fi focus
of the week.
Oh yeah, this is a big one. This
it is a big one. It's one.
It is. I'm big fans like yourself. It's British and it's one of the best.
So tell me all about it. How did you perceive it and how you got into it?
I saw it as a kid. It was on Breakaway first episode, and I saw it as a kid. I forgot about 7 at the time. It just blew me away. It was the ships.
Oh, the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles. They were just amazing.
It had great sound effects. It had great sound effects. It had great it had a really quirky idea of the moon. It seems to have like a warp core because it can fly to other systems within about 2 days. But I don't care. I don't care about the scientific inaccuracy.
You haven't said what it is yet.
What's that?
The programme we're talking about.
Oh, no, I haven't. You're right. Space 1999. That's what I mentioned it. God, people wouldn't know what we were talking about. Although I've had the theme tune running in the background, so they might guess.
Oh, that's brilliant. Which season? 1 or 2?
Well, I'm doing it post-edit, so you can choose the music which we're hearing now or you just heard.
You got to go with season 1.
Yeah, season 1. Yeah, I was going to do that anyway, so that's what you've been hearing. But it was a classic series. It had 2 seasons. 2 seasons which very, very alternated from each other. They weren't very similar in many ways. I think most people think that the first season was the best out of the 2. I think that myself. Yeah. So tell me about your favourite characters and things like that.
I like Barry Morphy.
Now, he was only in the first season.
Yeah, he's my favourite character. But I liked the cast. I like Xenia Merton, Sandra. I like Carter, the Eagle pilot. I just like the look of the bait, very clinical. I like Main Mission, the size of it, and I love that background noise all the time.
Oh, you got it. You got it in the running on the podcast. I managed to find the background sound from Space.
Oh wow!
So it's playing in the background now. You'll be
You've
hearing.
Actually got wow! That you know that like noise. It were on all the time. That sort of like technology,
like the sound of the beeping doors when they put that sort of stuff. It's, you've got that.
Blocks and I loved it. It was they spent that were big budget television, especially for this country.
I thought it was. I mean, it was made. I mean, it had American stars in it. It had Martin Landau, didn't it, and Barbara.
That did the American market, didn't it?
But I don't mind that. I mean, that's fine. But I thought that it was because it was made by the Jerry Anderson people, and of course, most of their series were puppet series. Which I didn't mind them, but I was never so much into puppet series. I like Terrorhawks for some reason, but go on.
Space 1999 was originally going to be UFO season 2.
Oh, okay. I've still not seen UFO yet. I know you're a big fan of UFO.
After UFO finished, UFO's very Earth-based, even though we're moon-based. There were a lot of Earth-based stories.
Right.
Even with aliens when they were up to stuff. But him owned ITV, I forgot his name. He was famous back at that time.
Right.
He owned ITV. He wanted, and everybody wanted outer space, because the outer space episodes were more popular than the Earth-based ones. And the original thing was that's UFO were going to be set 20 years on.
Okay.
But the aliens do a big attack on the moon, use gravity beams, and the moon gets fired off into space with shadow personnel.
Right.
And but they dropped all that and they went with to change the whole format. So, but I always say that Alpha was, in my thing, that it was shadowed 20 years on. They defeated them aliens through Eagle technology. And that's how I like to see it. That's how I see it.
Unfortunately, I never saw that series, so I can never give a perspective of that.
It's worth a look.
I know you're a big fan of that. I know you mentioned it on your show before. It's I've seen lots of stuff, but there's always something I should have seen.
Yeah, the episodes are on YouTube.
Okay, so you can actually
so give them a look. Yeah,
I will at some point. I think is that one where they've got that funny like purple hair and stuff. They've got sort of weird hair colours.
I don't know what that was about, but
I think visually it put me off a little bit, even though I shouldn't be like that close-minded. But
there was lots of mini skirts and.
Well, I don't mind that.
Purple ladies undressing quite a lot, you know.
Yeah, well, maybe it sounds better now that you're describing it. I don't know.
It's worth a lot. It's the storylines. They're so intelligent. They do your head in.
Yeah, well,
that's what's so good about it.
Well, sci-fi's could have a good storyline, and it doesn't always work, but you know. So, favorite episodes that stuck out with Space Mountain.
I like Breakaway.
The original. That's the pilot episode.
Yeah, brilliant. Collision Course.
Yeah. Go on.
The one with the Black Sun.
Yes, the Black Sun.
Very spiritual episode where there's like something about that like they're going on about God and that they have a purpose. There's a purpose to this Odyssey. It's mentioned a few times that there is a purpose to it.
Yeah. That
this was meant to happen. Oh, and the evil dude who they're finding an asteroid, that scared me as a kid.
Oh.
He's immortal with that weird artwork.
Yes. And I remember there's an episode with Peter Cushing who's in an episode. I remember that as well.
Oh, God, yeah.
Wasn't Christopher Lee in it as well at one point?
Yeah, he was. Joan Collins as well.
Yeah, but they weren't in it together, were they? They were in different episodes, weren't they?
No.
Yeah, I remember that. So it's a very, very sort of good series, very unique. I like the interaction between the characters, which always worked very well. It's definitely one that's always I've always remembered very fondly, which is really good. So, yeah, I'm glad that you liked it.
If you get it, the Blu-ray's worth the investment. They set because there's a lot of interviews with some of them, and Barry Morse he didn't like what they call him, Martin Landau. Didn't like him.
Yeah.
Nor did Sylvia Anderson. Because they kept making demands, and I mean, I don't know if this is all true, but there's different in the comment and the video, the documentaries. Some of the cast didn't like because apparently they had quite big egos. Because didn't they come from what was it, Mission Impossible?
Yes, they're both in Mission Impossible, weren't they?
And they were like big TV stars at the time.
Yes. So it's a bit of a difficult one when you have that. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it certainly was a memorable series, and it's certainly one which is fondly sort of judged by people now. But it's. Do you think it should have gone on a lot longer? I mean,
yeah, definitely. I think you could have got 4 to 5 years out of it. If it had been at the first series level, I think it could, because there's a lot of intelligent episodes in there and a few moral decisions. It's very dark. It's very good, and they take things to the next level, like in like about what's acceptable, you know. But that's what I mean. You could put it up there with Star Trek, the original series, to a point about how the episode put together. Season 2 was a totally different other story.
Now, I heard the person that was producer of the second season was the same guy who produced the third season of Star Trek, the original series.
Yeah, you can tell, can't you?
And that's what I was about to ask you. So you think that's probably one of the main factors, which is what caused it to probably its own demise because it was badly written. And I mean, did you hate everything in the second season?
No, I love the second season. I mean, the second season's definitely got its identity, but they come back. I mean, we lost main mission. That set was incredible.
I know. And they had this really small sort of operational area instead, which is always a bit weird to explain. Yeah, why they do that, obviously, did it for
and then they brought in Maya, who was a lady Manimal.
Yes, oh God, back to the Manimal again. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Maya versus Manimal, that'd be interesting.
It could happen. It could happen.
I know, and then you could have Odo as well, and you could have all sorts of changelings. Yeah. So, did you like her? She seemed to be the strongest point of season 2.
She
was her.
became. If you're gonna remember it, it's her. You're gonna remember.
That's what I'm saying. She seems to be the thing I remember the most from the second season, which is not necessarily a good thing. It was okay, but it's a shame that some of the other characters. Because I think Nick Tate, wasn't it? He was the one who played. Was
it Alan Carter?
Carter. I was about to say Carter.
Oh, and then
he was a good character.
Hancock, wasn't there?
And then you had the Chinese lady who was only in the second season very briefly. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, she became very good friends with Landau. She did.
Oh, did she? Okay.
Yeah, she got on really well with him, but she died, I think, last year.
Yes, I heard about that because she also appeared in Sarah Jane Adventures recently. Well, not recently, but when that was on as well. So I remembered her from Space 1999. So it was a good series, very, very specific to its time period, and it's something I do remember fondly. It's just another one of these series where it's a shame it didn't have a proper resolution. It sort of just finished mid-season, didn't it?
Well, they sexed it up quite a lot, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, it was sexed up to. I mean, there was one episode I watched, I hadn't seen it. I never forgot it. I was having my appendix out. I was in hospital, and it was on. I was watching it on the TV, and then I saw it again years later. There's a planet where there's a load of women running around in tight spandex with whips, hunting men down.
Yes.
In this plane. I'm being serious, right? There's a load of these ones that dominate this planet, and they're all in super tight, major tight skimpy spandex things.
Right.
And they've got these whips, and Koenig ends up on the planet, and he's like resistant as a man. You know, it's a prison planet.
Okay.
And then it just started going. I mean, to watch it is hilarious, but it was just they shoved a lot of they took it to the next level, didn't they? You know? Yeah,
I think so. And it's interesting because, like I said, it's one of those series where it was very specific to the time it was made. It had that mid-70s feel to it. And it felt like 70s Star Trek in some ways to me when I watched it, because it was made about 7 or 8 years after.
Yeah, it was.
And it did have its own unique identity. It had the idea of another planet, exploring it. Is it friendly? What can we do here? And so, I think it was a very good series.
I mean, final episode was called The Dog Hunt.
Yeah, I know. What kind of name was that for a show?
I don't know. But I mean, a lot of people. Well, a few years ago, about 3 years ago, there were a lot of publicity. They were bringing it back in 2099.
Yeah, I heard
there
that.
There were even photoshops, pictures of the revamped Eagles. And they were trying to raise money for it. I don't know what came of it.
No, I've heard that. I mean, they sometimes they have these sort of plans, and it doesn't work out. But that's a real shame, because it would have been good to have that return as a remake and make it 1999 rather than 1999.
Well, they worked out a way. I mean, you watch it now and you think, well, where's the moon going? I mean, they've got no control of it. I mean, it's a lot of, obviously today we question that, but apparently they'd worked a way out that the moon every now and again goes through a warp or something. Something happens. They've got no control over it.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a. It doesn't matter. I mean, in the end, it was about them going to new planets and encountering sort of sci-fi stories, which is what we both love. So, yeah, I'd rate it very highly.
I do. I think it stands. I mean, you had like John Daxter, who works on Star Wars and all these other, he works on that. And I mean, a lot of people who worked on that ended up working on the original Star Wars films. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, and I mean, look at them travel things. You remember them travel tubes and all that?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
It was incredible. And what's the most coolest ship out there? I mean, I've got one. I've got a 12-inch Eagle. I mean, Eagles are just so damn cool.
Yeah, they are. And they even appeared on Red Dwarf in an episode as well.
Did they?
Yeah, in an episode, oh god, it was the one, not Legion, it was the one where there was these creatures that, I can't remember the name of it. It's season 6, and you see an eagle, in space, you do see an eagle.
Oh, right, cool.
Yeah, briefly, so there you go. That's another series you've got to try focus on as well, Red Dwarf at some point.
Yes.
But yeah, very good series, do you want to wrap up? Anything else you want to say about it?
No, it's one of my all-time favourite series. I grew up with it as a kid, and a lot of people I know, they all say the same thing. Love the Eagles, and there's some great stories in there.
Absolutely. It's just a shame again that it's another series that could have lasted a bit longer than it didn't. But I rate it very highly.
The one thing it did before we finish on this, it established its own identity, and that's what nobody can take away from it.
And I think it's one of those series that, for me, like Star Trek, when you first watch it as a kid, it always stuck with you. It's always one of those things.
Precisely.
And that's one thing that good sci-fi does. It's just something about it that you just don't forget. It just sticks with you, and
you never get bored of it.
No, because it's just too. It's just the world that you watch it in. It's just very compelling. And it's just one of those strange things that I've always liked in science fiction. And so great. Thank you for that. I'm really glad that you like it as much as I do. Hopefully at some point there'll be a remake or some new incarnation of it. And if there is, then we'll certainly, if we're still podcasting by then, we'll certainly focus on it. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, Martin. Right, on that note, shall we go into the latest Alien versus? No, Predator versus. I always say that. Predator versus.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Let's go.
Predator vs Manimal.
Right. Manimal 1983 got cancelled after 9 episodes. It did appear in the TV series, 2-part Nightman in the 90s. That's it. It's been voted one of the worst TV series ever made. I have to tell if nobody's heard of it.
Yeah, go on. Give an explanation of what it is in case you aren't aware of it.
It's about a dude, right? This is the opening, right? Dr. Jonathan Chase. This is what it says in intro. Dr. Jonathan Chase, wealthy, young, handsome. A man with the brightest of future. A man with the darkest of past from Africa. Deepest recesses to the rarefied pigs of Tibet. Heir to his father's legacy and the world's darkest mysteries. Jonathan Chase, master of the secrets that divide man from animal from man, manimal. God,
yes.
That is shite, isn't it? Sorry.
Oh, God. So, from what I remember, this series only lasted about 8 episodes or something.
Yes, yeah, it did, yeah. It's that one. It's voted in the top 10 worst. It's been panned, but it voted one of the worst science fiction series ever made. It was just absolutely fucking stupid.
And I remember it being on BBC One. I think it was like something like a Tuesday night about 7:30 or something. Or 8
yes, it was.
And it was. I remember seeing it, and I was actually blown away, not by the story, but by the actual transformation effects, which at the time were very, very good.
Yes.
For its time, before CGI and everything. I think was Stan Winston involved with that? I can't remember. But it was very, very well done. But
we have to explain all this because before the battle,
that's what I'm saying.
To know what Manimal is.
Yeah, this isn't a focus on the show. We're not focusing on Manimal as well, but we need to actually do. So basically, so this is a character, and he can change into anything. He does the heavy breathing. and then his sort of skin starts to sort of bump up and down, and then before you know it,
surveillance as a parrot.
yes, or
He does in a cage.
a hawk as well. But normally a black panther. I think he was a bear at one point. He's been a snake.
He can become a shark as well.
Oh, I didn't see that one. God, he's been becoming a shark as well. So so now he can breathe underwater as well. There you go. Oh my God. Okay.
Right, let's go.
Go.
Right, the year is 1983. Jonathan Chase, wealthy wanker. He's out with his dippy girlfriend who solves crimes with him.
Yeah.
There's a secret government package being moved by Wayland Industries.
Right.
Yes, Wayland Utami. They've got on some Predator technology.
Oh, that's clever. That's a good. I suddenly clicked what you said. Go on. That's good.
Yeah. Right, so anyway, they're moving this. We've got this energy source found on the crashed Predator ship.
Yeah.
And they're moving it along. Actually, no, we'll set it after the battle with Arnie's character. It's a few years after Manimal.
Right.
About 1985, say. So when Predator movies come out. And they've got some technology and they're moving it off to some warehouse or lab to work on it. But there's a Predator who's come down because, we're not allowed to have 100%. Another one appears, right?
Okay.
So there's a lot of muscle men, 80s soldiers, which, and they just all get taken out. He's nearby, so there's an explosion, but they're on surveillance trying to get some on Wayland himself, because there's been a murder, some cover up. So him and detective lady go and investigate, right? So they get in and they find 20 dead Marines, all dead, torn apart, spines out. And he's suddenly, because he had just got animal powers, he's got animal senses.
That's right. Yes.
He can communicate with animals as well.
Yes, I forgot about that. You have been doing your research.
Yeah, he communicates with a mouse. And the mouse tells him, you get to see which he's in music with. Mouse going, this fucking thing came down, it slaughtered everybody.
Right.
So then this guard dog turns up and it's woofing at him, telling him. So suddenly he becomes a Black Panther.
Yeah.
And not even got to his clothes, right? So he rolls off, so he's sniffing it out. She's the Predator sees her, because she's he don't kill women. It picks her up, and she drops the gun. It looks at her, I'm not going to kill you, and it throws her away. So then she's knocked out, and he sees it. So he goes at him as a panther, big punch at the panther. But the Predator gets Manimal by the tail, swings him around, he goes flying off in the corner. So Manimal changes into a gorilla.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big punch up, lifts up the big box, throws it on Predator. Predator snaps it in half with a laser bolt. And suddenly, Manimal becomes a grizzly bear.
Oh, no.
Going with big claws. Big fight going on. But Manimal's sort of getting damaged because the Predator stabbed him right in the stomach with claw knives.
Yeah.
But so he throws Manimal against the thing, and then the Predator suddenly turns down, fires an electro net. Them nets it has in Predator 2.
Yes.
And traps Manimal. Manimal's thinking, what's going on? I need to change him to something else. And Predator's fascinated because this man can change all these creatures. So Manimal changes into a hamster.
Okay.
Changes into a hamster and gets out of the thing, and he's running along the floor as a hamster. But the Predator trips up on some dog shit. And he slips up and lands on Manimal. Manimal's dead.
Oh no.
And Predator gets up. And he sees it, this dead hamster's squashed because his ass landed on it, right? So he pulls it out, crack of his ass because he fell on it, right? And he's looking at it.
Yeah.
And he gets the device and he gets in his ship and fucks off to the mothership in orbit. And he tells all Predators, I killed this thing, this human that could change into loads of creatures. And he's got how they like trophies? It's like
Yes.
Alien Head, all
Yes.
these like big trophies. Well, he sticks to a hamster on trophy thing. They're all pissing themselves laughing. All these other predators.
So he doesn't
So
change back. He doesn't change back.
Well, no, because he got squashed.
Okay.
And she wakes up and she can't believe it. He's gone. You know what I mean? And that's it. Predator defeats Manimal. I mean, it's a big battle. I mean, Manimal changes into like, but he, for some reason, he becomes a fucking hamster. Don't ask. He just does.
Yeah, just because he does. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's you know.
So that's
Wayland loots their device. The predator is the laughing stock with other predators in his trap. He stood there, fucking
with the
hamster.
hamster. Yeah.
Oh, his ass fell and crushed. And Manimal, thank God we got them. You know, and the world won't be missing Manimal. So that's it. And she meets Knight Rider. He turns up in his car.
Right.
And she drives off with him because she's been doing him behind Manimal's back. So there you go.
Hang on a minute. I've got to see my batch. Hang on, just 1 sec. Sorry. Oh, bugger. Right. Sorry about that. I had to disappear. My laptop.
So Knight Rider turns up at Endic's car because she's been having an affair with Michael Knight and drives off with him because she's fed up with it. You know what I'm saying? Because it keeps changing into Jack Russell's. He's always humping people's legs. You know, so Manimal has got problems. He can't control his animal passions, and that's it. Manimal loses, and Predator wins. So,
Well, there we go.
Predator.
I had to disappear during the end of that because my battery was running out of my laptop, so I had to run away and quickly plug it in. But I did get the end of that. So Knight Rider was involved in the end as well.
Well, he turned up, yeah, because they were investigating Wayland, but that's for another episode.
Oh God, what Predator versus Kit or something? Well, thank you for that. That was, you certainly gave a lot of thought into that one.
Well, I did.
You did. Thank you. That's a brilliant homework for you.
I sit through an hour and a half of that today, and I had to read up on him that he sat in a cage doing surveillance as a parrot.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there we go. Thank you for that. I don't know what we want to do next week for Predator versus, but
Yeah, we're going to bring in a big gun next week.
yeah, I don't know. But that was good though. I mean, the trophy of being a hamster that's pretty unique thought, but I can see that happening definitely. So there you go. Well done, Martin. Well done.
What would you like next week?
Let's have a think. Next week. I don't know.
Tell me through the week. Tell me through the week.
I'll have to think about it. If not, then maybe we'll try and... I haven't got any ideas at the moment, but we'll have to see. Brilliant. Well, I'm going to have to sign off in a second because my recording is almost out now. I've only got about 2 minutes to record, so thank you for that. We're back next week. Any ideas what do you want to focus on next week?
I don't know. Do you want to do another Star Trek or something else?
Let's do... What about with all this worrying coronavirus? What about doing Survivors?
Definitely.
Yeah, because that's
Fantastic
a good series.
job.
And it's something which seems quite prominent at the moment. Not,
You've seen the new one as well.
I've
not
seen both.
that. So,
I like both, but the original's a classic, so
definitely.
we'll focus on the classic.
I'm up for that.
And then maybe in the future, if you see the new one, we can talk about the remake as well. Martin,
we-
thank you.
Have we covered tripods yet?
Oh, don't. No, we haven't. We've done War of the Worlds, not tripods. All right. So let's do Survivors next week, tripods the week after. And then after that, we'll do a Star Trek.
Yes.
Brilliant. Martin, thank you. We're going to leave with, we had recently Predator the musical. This week, I thought we'd have The Thing the musical.
Oh, come on, you're joking, man. You're
I'm not.
winding me up.
You'll hear it right now. And I hope you enjoy it. Martin, thank you very much. We'll be back next week for another show, and we'll catch you later on the Solo One Sci-Fi podcast. Thank you very much.
Then. Yeah.
Live long and prosper. Laters.
It's cold outside, I've been running for miles, helicopter trailing behind. Hey, it's a camp thing, I'll stay for a while, won't you help a doggy out of a bind? There's nothing to see here, I'm only a husky, your average adorable rover. But once I convince you it's okay to trust me, your civilization is over. I can't wait to see their faces when I spring. Yes, sir. 'Cause they think that I'm a dog, but I'm the thing. I'm the thing, baby. Can you tell that I'm not from around here? Did you know that things are worse than you feared? 'Cause I've been to 1,000,000 planets, and I can copy you right down to your beard. You can check on your ancient computer. It's astonishing how quickly I spread. You can pick up an axe and go crazy, but I can grow legs from my head. So I might be MacReady, or maybe I'm Doc. Blair's been acting awfully suspicious. That Gary's a liar. Be sure to watch Clark. And Windows, well, he's just delicious. So perform your little test. Hey, you found me, I'm impressed. Hate to interrupt your endless bickering. Big surprise, guys, I'm not Palmer, I'm the Thing from another world, baby. Oh, you really gotta love paranoia. More than half of you believe that I'm Mac. Once you make up your mind, you can blow me up, or you can burn me, I'll keep coming back. I could be anyone, so watch those hands, Doc, ouch. You'll either end up dead or tied to this fucking couch. We're well past the points of silly denials. So am I MacReady, or could I be Childs? Which one am I, baby? These poor bastards in the snow, they were clueless, now they know. It's a special brand of nightmare that I bring. Yes, they thought I was a dog, but I'm the Thing.